Batters that I was a little bit concerned about bowling to in IPL is what we're discussing on Hoggs Vlog today. Well, there are a lot of batters I was concerned about when I had to come on to bowl. First one was Kieron Pollard. I knew that I had the weapons to beat him on both sides of the bat, but if the ball wasn't turning, I knew that he had the power to stand and deliver and hit me straight with absolute authority. And there was one game in at 1KD Stadium where he drove one back to me. It was the hardest ball I've ever seen being hit on a cricket field. I was ducking for cover. I was trying to preserve my life. Now, the ball ricocheted off the non-striker. It's cleaned the non-striker up. The ball's bubbled up in front of me. And if I kept my composure, I would have been able to catch him. But just the sheer power of Kieron Pollard made me a little concerned at times. Now, number two is Denish Cardi. Didn't really have the power, but what he did, he had the manipulation with his sweep shots to create a lot of difficulty for me. He could sweep fine and he could sweep hard square, but he could also reverse sweep. So you'd set the field to cover those particular areas. But what that did, it opened gaps up in the V, and then he used his feet and tried to power through and hit the boundaries in those gaps that were created. And if I tried to stop him from coming down the wicket and sweeping, I'd bowl a little bit shorter. He was quick on the back foot, and bang, see you later, Hoggy. The other guy was Rohit Sharma. Wasn't a big sweeper of the ball, but what he did was able to fine cut me, and I'd move the backward point around a little bit finer, and then he'd cut me through that gap that I had created. Then I felt I've got to bowl a little bit fuller. He would just hit me straight down the ground. Rohit Sharma, very good thinker of the game. And played me a lot differently to many others. Number four is Glenn Maxwell. Now, Glenn Maxwell, he would reverse sweep me as hard as he could early on, just to put the pressure on me and show his authority. And he'd also just walk down the wicket and try and hit me over the top of my head as well. He was one that was prepared to take me on from ball one. And he knew that I was a little nervous in my first couple of balls, and he wanted to make full toll of that and put the pressure right on me by getting boundaries early on in my spell. That was Maxwell's strength, taking those early risks. Sometimes it didn't come off, but a lot of the time it did come off for Glenn Maxwell. Now, the other guy, I love this guy, Rishabh Pant. He would take on the spinners. He's got good sweep shots. He's got good reverse sweeps. He uses his feet and powers down the ground. Just with that dominance of footwork and array of shots really put pressure on me. So Pant, he was another one that I struggled with. And finally, Gayle. Now, Gayle, if I was bowling to him in a power play, I'd feel a little comfortable with that because he takes his time in the power play. But if I didn't get to bowl to him early on in his innings, I was a little bit concerned because once he got through that power play phase, he motors along. He's got a strike rate of 170 through that period, and he takes the spinners on. One thing that I felt with Gayle, he had a weakness on his legs. He didn't play the sweep shot, but he knew that I was always going to attack him there, and he developed that to his game. And once he got the sweep shot in, it created a lot more headaches for me. I had to change my plan. I had to either go wider or a little bit shorter, and that was in his hitting zone because he's a tall man with a lot of muscle. So those are the 6 players that I found difficult to bowl to in the IPL. If there's any others out there that you think would have been a little bit more difficult, well, put your comments downstairs. Let's have a little bit of banter. If you like what I'm doing, get on that little bell and that will give you a notification of when the next video is coming out. But stay safe and enjoy the cricket.